Week one, the Gophers beat the Buffalo Bulls 23-10. We are diving in today. Immediate reactions here at the Gopher Bro podcast. We're going to talk about Drake Lindsey. We're going to talk about things we liked, things we maybe didn't like, how we're going to prep for Northwestern State, and some more. So lock in, share the link so others can follow. But we're going a live Gopher Bro podcast right here, right now. All right, there it is. Week one is in the books. The Gophers take home the dub. How we feeling, Tristan Spanflor? There were some sloppy moments, there was some ugly, but how we feeling overall?
The road to 10-2 has begun to be paved. The road to 10-2 has begun to be paved. It was exactly what I think we could hope for from week one from this group. Like, there was sloppy moments, there was questionable moments, but in the long run, they get the job done. And I'd say overall, they looked very great for a group that has not played together for very long. This looked great.
For sure, for sure. There's a lot to be happy about. I mean, Darius Taylor, 141 rush yards. He added like 30 receiving yards to that bad boy. He was all over the place. I don't love that they kept Darius Taylor in the game so late. I felt like we could maybe rested them legs, but maybe they're going to do that next week versus Northwestern State. I mean, they were 0-12 in the FCS, so maybe that's an off game. Maybe you let them get 10 touches, 100 yards, and you let them rest next week. But let's talk about this week. We won the game 23-10. It was a lot closer of a game than you would like to see, but it never felt close. It felt like a blowout from the start to the finish. I mean, if you look at the yardage difference in these two teams, Minnesota had 443 yards on offense. Buffalo had 151. And like most of that 151 came on one drive that the Gophers just had a hiccup on. Like overall, how are you feeling about this defense? I was a little nervous heading in. New DC, third DC of the year, or in the last 3 years. But Danny Collins came out. That defense was looking good. How are we feeling overall?
I feel great about the defense, actually. They were humming around. I mean, yes, we had that one, is that one series like you talked about, but going into that first half, even like, I think I texted you at it had to be the second quarter. I was like, it feels like we're up 2 touchdowns right now, and we were not. Like, we're up a field goal. And it felt good. Like, the defense looked solid, and they looked like a group that's played together. The D line was flying around. Love that.
Bro, you're not lying. I mean,
Yes.
Anthony Smith had a sack in the first drive. He had a pass breakup because he was coming for that safety in the second drive. Anthony Smith, this dude plays like that all season. I guarantee he is going to hear his name called in that NFL draft. And it could be high. He could keep the streak going. But that defensive line was flying around. Your boy Jackson Howard had a filthy spin move where he got a QB hit. Forced a third and long into an incompletion. Gophers had multiple 3-and-outs, but look at this is the stat of the day for me when it comes to the defense. They held Buffalo's third down attempts to 1 for 11 on third down attempts. These dudes were in hell when it was third down, and this defense was all about it.
Yeah, no, everything looked great. Like, that whole first half, it looked like things were clicking. It didn't look like it didn't look like we're trying this. It looked like we've done this before. We know what we're doing. And that's what it garnered a lot of confidence when I was watching it.
For sure. The secondary, people were questioning the cornerbacks. I would just like to say that Iowa still is good at eyeing some white boy cornerbacks. Nestor held his own. He had
I'm so happy you said it, not me.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing his thing. I'll call it how I see it.
Hey.
He showed up. I like to see it overall. Zaquan was shutting it down. He had a pass breakup tonight, too. Overall, I think the defense played phenomenal. The offense, flip it over that way. It was slow starts. There were moments. I'm going to say every part of the first half, like, yes, we didn't score the points. What was it, like 7-3 at halftime or something of the sort? And it wasn't always pretty. But there were flashes where you're like, okay, I can see it. I can see Drake Lindsey. I can see
Mhm.
DT getting some nasty vision, getting some nasty cuts, and working the ball down the field. I can see Jalen Smith getting open. Now we got to catch the ball, folks. There's Jalen had a couple, Gears had a couple. I think Tracy had one. They had like 5 flat out drops. You look at Drake Lindsey's numbers in this game. He had 54% completion, which isn't great. You talk about 5 drops. If you give him 2 of those 5 drops, you are talking about a 60+% completion percentage for the game. So the Gophers have to catch the ball, and then Drake Lindsey's night looks even better. But let's talk about Drake Lindsey. What are your thoughts after game 1? Drake Lindsey, redshirt freshman, commanding offense, making checks at the line. How we feeling overall?
We talk about, when you see a first time starter come onto the field and all the worries that we had, even like we talked about throwing your first pick. He had the flukiest pick of all time. I think you called him,
Bro.
that was a Madden. It was a Madden glitch. It
That's
was
when
insane.
it glitches out on Madden and you're like sending the clip to EA like, bro, fix your broken game. I mean, the linebacker plows over Jamison Gears. Drake tries to hit him on the dump off, but it was as he was getting plowed over. It hits his like foot or the bottom of his cleat, pops up in the air, and then they get an interception. Like, you can't make up the more lucky play than that one interception. And yet Darius Taylor still comes in the clutch, hawks him down, and makes sure they don't score a touchdown on that drive.
Oh yeah, no, he looked great. The composure in the pocket. Oh my God, when he stepped up, he'd step up with confidence, make a throw, like make a play. He was never It's like he didn't feel any pressure around, or he sensed the pressure, and as soon as it came, step up, make a play. He looked great. He looked confident. Gears gave us a roller coaster of a night. He started off a roller coaster of a night. But I think I do like looking at the way Gears still plays, though. He's finding those open spots in the defense. He's going to clean it up. Like, those drops are not going to be consistent throughout the year. He's going to clean it up, and that's going to be a problem for a lot of defenses.
Yeah, I mean, that was one thing that kind of stood out about this Gophers offense, besides like the random hiccup of a Madden glitch interception. Overall, it looked pretty well composed and put together. And then you're talking about a lot of different guys getting the ball. You had Tracy with 71 yards on 3 receptions. You had Darius Taylor, 36 yards, Gears, 38 yards, Smith, 76 yards. We spread the ball around. Necky had 30, Loya had 18. Like, Drake was dishing it around the entire yard. And the only gripe that I have with this offense right now, well, first you got to finish them touchdowns. Like, I know everybody,
those drives.
If you're listening on YouTube, feel free to drop your comments on how you felt about this game. But my gripe in this game was the drops, and then it was not finishing touchdowns. But aside from that, I wish the Gophers would have let Drake Lindsey throw one more, get 10 yards, and give it a 300-yard game. I mean, you're right there. You're sniffing glory. It's 290 yards. You could have thrown another screen pass for all we need. Get to 10 yards, and then let him have his 300 yards for his first start ever. Come on now.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And that's we all offseason we talked about, okay, who are our starting wide receivers? Who's going to play wide receiver? Who are the guys? And maybe PJ just said, how about we get 8 guys, and no matter who's on the field, Drake's going to be confident throwing to whoever. Drake doesn't care about who he's throwing it to. If you're open, you're going to catch it. Or, well, hopefully you're going to catch it. But
we're working on that part still.
Yeah, we had some spots. We had some spots. But he didn't care if you were open, he found the open man, and he was making great throws. The drops were just drops.
Oh my God. And some of the completions, like the one that looked, or the incompletions even, the one that 3rd and 17, he throws it to Jalen Smith, and it was a dot. And he gets lit up and he drops the ball. They called it incomplete. I thought his butt was down. I thought maybe it was a completion and no fumble because his butt was down, but I digress. That ball on 3rd and 17 was a dime. And like, he had multiple little flashes of those throughout. I am so excited for this kid, and I think it's still going to take time. He's still going to have some bumps. He's still going to have some hiccups along the way. But Drake Lindsey showed he could be the real deal for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and this is redshirt freshman season, so I love that overall.
I don't know if you could see as far as replays goes, but that pass interference on Gears, that the one that hit him in the shoulder, like the ball literally hit him in the shoulder, like if the pass interference, it was the most perfect pass I have ever seen. Like, it would have been completed. It hit him in the hands, right on the shoulder, right outside the defender. Like, it was a great throw. And then obviously the flag got thrown and he dropped it. But it was crazy. Like, some of these throws were awesome.
Yeah, the only other thing let's talk about the biggest worry after this game. So we talked
Yeah.
about the drops overall, but when you're looking at the game in totality, moving forward, what is the biggest thing that you hope the Gophers can clean up that gives you worries right now as we move forward?
As of right now, the running backs cannot continue to wear these black cleats and black socks. This is an issue. This is my number one problem with the team right now. We got to get some white cleats on. We look slow in the black. Like it's crazy. We got to wear some
First
white
world
cleats.
problems. First
This is
world problems. Well,
nuts.
I'm gonna give you my real worry. I'm gonna give you the worry. The offensive line, it feels like we need more push because it felt like
Yes.
DT was finding openings. He had the vision, he had the cuts and everything like that. But it felt like there was someone getting to him way too soon. I would love this offensive line to start to gel a little bit better and give the run game more push. I think they did really well in the pass game. I thought Drake went untouched for most of the game. I think they had one sack throughout this game, but overall, I thought he had a lot of opportunity. He was able to move through the clean pocket. I mean, the 60-yard touchdown pass that he had to Jalen Smith, he steps up into the pocket, finds the opening on the move, hits a dime, and that's a touchdown. He had another moment like that earlier that Gears dropped where he sidearmed it, hit Gears straight in the chest. That would have been a beauty as well. I love what we're seeing in the glimpses, but the O line has to generate more push for the run game, and then hopefully we don't wear Darius Taylor down.
Yeah, that did concern me. Like you talked about at the beginning again. Those that last couple of drives, I was like, DT looks gassed right now. Like we just keep running this boy. No, in reality, my biggest worry it's the same thing we talk about, and it's just a college football thing in general. It's the consistency. Like scoring a touchdown is super emotional, and everyone gets super up, and it's like, okay, this game's ours. This game's ours. And then you see it when we came out in that defensive drive where we just like getting gashed. Like, okay,
Mhm.
game's not over. We have to play a full four quarters, and that's a theme with the Gophers in general. Is we'll go up and be looking really solid that first half, and then come out like the game is over already, and then we have to kind of fight to stay in it towards the end. That's what I think
Right.
would be my worry right now, because it did seem like every time something great would happen for us, we're like, okay, that's game. Well, no, there's still 28 minutes left to play.
Right. And I'm a little disappointed we didn't cover. 23-10, it looks a little
Yeah.
better than it was. It felt way too close throughout the
Those
entirety
first
of the
two
game.
red zone drives.
Right. The first two drives, you got to put more points on the board. But I love some of the aggression PJ Fleck showed too, like going for it on 4th and inches early on in the game, like the 2 minute drill. Now, we forced a little bit in the 2 minute drill in the back half of it. The beginning of it, we were moving the ball real nice, real well. You get to the back of it, and Drake started trying to really take that end zone shot instead of maybe letting it come naturally. I think he had a check down to the flat that would have put him at like the 3, but he went for the deep shot in the end zone,
Almost
and
got
all of a
picked.
sudden, he almost threw an interception. So it's like we got to hone in on some of those, but
Mhm.
overall, I liked what I saw. My biggest surprise from this game, I think, is the amount of times that we passed the ball, to be honest. The fact that we threw it 35 times in our redshirt freshman who has never started a game before, I love that confidence. I love them saying, you're our guy. We're going to keep this thing going like we did with Brosmer. And we still got Darius Taylor 30 touches on the ground as well. So I think overall, the offense looks like it can find some things. They got to clean some things up. But the surprise of 35 pass attempts in game one, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Actually, I was thinking that same thing. Other than that, I think Darius Taylor might have had the quietest 140-yard game I have ever
Bro,
seen.
I'm
They
saying.
they showed the graphic, and I was like, what? And it was like in the beginning of the fourth. He has 120 yards. Where? When did he get these? Like, and he was having consistent drives. Like, he was always going for it. It was like chunk play, chunk play. But I was like, where did he get this 140 yards from? So
Yeah, and
that
then
would
you
be,
throw in the receiving yards with it. He's at
yeah.
177 all-purpose yards in game number one. Like, you give me a healthy DT, I'm convinced he can lead the nation in rushing yards and all-purpose yards. This dude is a beast. We just got to keep him healthy and maybe
And
help
that
him hit a home run or two, and we'll be sitting nice.
And Buffalo's defense was no slouch either. I will say that. Like this, that like I think Buffalo will be decent in the MAC this year. The what's his name? Who's that number two? Was it is Snow number two? Who's number two?
I can't
It
remember off
was
the top of my
he had
head.
a ton of tackles. He made a ton of plays in the backfield. Like he looked really good. So having that many yards against what I considered a solid defense, that was impressive.
For sure. And I came into this game thinking their pass defense was kind of garbage. We did pick them apart a little bit as we went,
Hmm.
but they had 9 starters returning. So you can't really look at last year because they have the chemistry to build it back up and keep moving forward. And so 9 starters returning on defense, and your Gophers offense puts up 443 total offensive yards. I'm going to take that all day of the week. Now we're going to play in FCS school, Northwestern State, and this is where you really start to let people feel comfortable, start to get people gelling, hopefully blow them out by halftime, so then you can start to get some of these younger faces and other faces and get AJ Turner some more touches and keep Darius fresh. Get Jalen Smith in a groove with Drake Lindsey early, so that way when those moments come versus Rutgers, when those moments come versus Cal, they're connecting, they're catching the ball, they're hitting that touchdown. I mean, Jalen Smith almost had another touchdown in the back of the end zone with the toe tap, but he was just outside. Those type of things are the things you want to clean up in that first half of Northwestern State. So hopefully you can start to hit them more and more and more as you get to the real games.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, 2 last questions. We're going to wrap this up. I got to hit downstairs and jump in the presser with PJ Fleck. Last thing I want to ask you is your biggest positive from this game.
I think it's got to be Drake Lindsey. There's no question about it. He looked confident. He looked like he had started 20 games going into this game. So he looked really good.
My biggest positive is the defense. The fact that they showed up and showed out. People were talking about, oh, they lost Jaw, oh, they lost Strigow, oh, they lost Cody Lindenberg, oh, Wally's gone, Robinson's gone. We don't know who the corners are going to be. All of that, and this defense showed out. There was one drive that was a hiccup, and the Gophers have had those throughout the years. Even when they were top 10 defense last year, they had a couple hiccup drives. That was one. You're still getting it together. You erase that drive, and this defense shut it down, locked down. Secondary from there, the run game, which Buffalo is supposed to have a good run game, they did really well. So that was my biggest positive. The last thing we're going to talk about here, Tristan, and then I got to get down to this presser, is the player of the game or moment of the game. Pick whichever you want, but who is your player or moment of the game?
I'm just gonna say what stuck out to me is that first Anthony Smith sack right away because I felt justified. I felt justified for everything we've talked about in the offseason. Dude is a monster. I'm really excited for his season.
Yeah, I'm going to go player of the game. I'm going to go Drake Lindsey because the moment wasn't too big for him. He threw a bunch of dimes. His players were dropping the ball and he wasn't getting frustrated. He was like, okay, next play mentality. I'm not going to get bogged down by people dropping the ball. I'm going to get the ball continually in the right spot. I'm not going to freak out about a freak interception. I'm going to come back and we're going to go down the field and get points on the board. So overall, the composure that he showed as a redshirt freshman with 290 yards, should have been above 60% completion, should have been above 300 yards if some of these drops don't happen. He balled out, and he's definitely my player of the game for week 1.
Love it. Love it. I agree.
All right, folks. Well, we are doing these lives after every single game, so be sure to tap in and have some fun. Jump in the chat. We got one comment on here. Shout out to Barry. I'm going to throw that up there again. He loved the win. He said 10-2, baby. You said it. He said it. 10-2, baby. Let's go. Let's go 11-1. Let's go beat Oregon too. I don't know about Ohio State, but let's go get Oregon. Thank y'all for tapping in. Be sure to hit subscribe over on YouTube. We're going live every game. I got to go hop in that presser. Follow me at Gophers King Rob, and I will be throwing up some things from PJ and the players coming up here soon. Have a good one, and we will see you next time. Row the boat, Sky Go Gophers.